सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः सदाशिवसमारम्भाम् शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयम् नमामि भगवत्पादम् शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम् शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यम् केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्. Humble prostrations to everyone present here. So our topic today is pranayama and spiritual sadhana. So since we have all studied Tattvabodha, so here we find Annamaya Kosha first, then comes Pranamaya Kosha, and then comes Manomaya Kosha. So when we see this Pranamaya Kosha comes in between Annamaya Kosha and Manomaya Kosha. So therefore, when we improve this Pranamaya Kosha with Pranayama, we find that there is improvement both in Annamaya Kosha and also in Manomaya Kosha. To put it simply, when we do Pranayama, Annamaya Kosha is benefited, meaning our physical health is benefited. When we do Pranayama, our Manomaya Kosha is also benefited, meaning our mind is also influenced by Pranayama. So first we will see how Pranayama improves our physical health. So when we say prana, the pancha prana, what are the pancha pranas? Prana, apana, vyana, udana and samana. So this prana is called respiratory system. Apana is called excretion system. Vyana is called circulatory system. Udana is called reverse system and samana is called digestive system. All these functions, the physiological functions happen because of the power of prana. So now, when we eat food, what happens? The food goes to the stomach. In stomach, digestion happens. So what is digestion? The conversion of food into energy. That is what is digestion. And this aspect is taken care by samana vayu in the stomach. Jatharagni, Vaishwanara it is called. That fire, that digestive fire, that is that which converts the food into energy. So digestive system digests the food, meaning converts food into energy. Now once the energy is formed, it has to be circulated throughout the body. So this aspect is taken care by Vyana Vayu. Vyana means circulatory system. So this energy is circulated throughout the body through Vyana Vayu. Now, in this process, the blood becomes impure. So the blood has to be purified. So then this respiratory system, which is called as Pranavayu, takes care of it. So what does it do? It takes in oxygen, throws away carbon dioxide, and thus the blood is purified. So this is taken care by Pranavayu. Now, in the process of digestion, there are waste material. It has to be thrown out from the physical body. So then that is taken care by Apana Vayu, excretion system. Now there is one more Vayu which is used only during emergencies. It is not always used, but only during emergency it is used. And what is that? It is called as Udana Vayu. For example, you have eaten something, that food doesn't match well with the system, it has to be thrown out vomited out. So that vomiting, it is something reverse process. Normal process going from up to down. But here from down to up it has to go. So it's a reverse system. So then Udana Vayu becomes active in vomiting, etc. Sometimes when the dust enters into the eyes have to be flushed out with tears. That is also taken care by Udana Vayu. So a particular system, emergency system, which is ever there to keep the body healthy, protected. So that is the job of Udana Vayu. Also, one more function they say is at the time of death, the Sukshma Sharira has to leave the body, the subtle body has to leave the physical body. So that ejection happens by the power of Udana Vayu. So in short, all the physiological functions that are happening in the body, it is all because of Pancha Pranas. So therefore, when can we say that a person is healthy at the physical level? When these Pancha Pranas are really strong, very powerful, then we say that person is healthy. Health has nothing to do with the bulging of biceps and triceps. Health has nothing to do with your six packs in the stomach. Health has only to do with one thing: how strong is your pranavayu? Hmm. That, what you call, that radiance in the face, that power in the hands and legs and the body, and that general energy which a person radiates at the physical body, it is all because of prana shakti. And now this prana, it knows everything. It is literally omniscient. It knows how to keep the body fit. The only thing it wants is it needs power, it needs strength. For example, if the blood has to flow and there is a clot in that nervous system or that blood vessel or whatever, the pranavayu knows how to clear it if there is some fat. So if a person is regularly doing pranayama, so then this prana, it will clear the system. It knows what to do. So all those things, what you call this bypass surgery and this and that heart surgery, nothing is needed. The prana knows what to do. But we have to strengthen the prana for it to do its job. So what we do with pranayama is we are just empowering prana. We are just making the prana powerful so that it can do its job. It is something like, a vehicle, if it has to go over a hill, engine knows what to do, but then it needs a power. The engine needs a power to take the vehicle up the hill. In the same way, the prana knows what to do because it knows everything, how to keep the body alive. Only thing what is necessary is it must be energized. Through pranayama, what we do is we make the pancha pranas very strong. And once they become strong, then that person becomes really healthy. Through pranayama alone, there are people who have lived for 200, 300, 350, 400 years, etc. In YouTube, I think it is some Pavahara Baba or Devahara Baba, somebody. He lived for around 350 years only through pranayama. Right. So at the physical level, pranayama can give us good health. Now, this is regarding Annamaya Kosha. Now, how does this prana affects the Manomaya Kosha, mind? What is the connection between prana and the mind? So in Upadesha Saram, Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi speaks about it. Vayurodhanat liyate manah jalapakshivat rodha sadhanam. Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi says, Vayurodhanat manah liyate. So when we control our breath, when we restrain our breath, when we breathe in a very slow, steady, rhythmic manner, when we try to restrain our breath, there is a direct relationship we find between the breath and the state of mind. So what is said is, manaha liyate, the mind becomes more and more silent. The mind becomes more and more quiet. So as your breathing becomes slow and steady and deep, the mind also becomes very, 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 very quiet. And you will always find that when the mind is disturbed, the prana also is disturbed. Our breathing rhythm, everything becomes, haphazard, disturbed. So that means there is a relationship. So Ramana Maharshi says this is an excellent way in excellent technique which can be used in spiritual sadhana, because controlling the prana, the breathing, is very easy, whereas controlling the mind is very difficult. So therefore, this is a wonderful technique where by holding on to the gross, by controlling the gross, you are able to control something subtle in you. By controlling the sthula, you are controlling the sukshma in you. And what is the example given? So here, Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi gives the example of Jala Pakshivat, like a bird caught up in the net. Bird by itself, it's a very fickle being, very restless being. But when that bird is caught up in the net, what happens to that bird? It becomes helplessly quiet. So in the same way, when a person is able to do pranayama, and it is very easy to do, when you are regulating your breath, which is comparatively very easy, the mind also becomes quiet, silent, like that helpless bird inside the net. Now, this example is beautiful because what Bhagavan is trying to say is the moment you remove the net, the bird again flies off. So, as long as you are doing pranayama, so long the mind is quiet. So, this is not a permanent solution to quieten the mind, it is a temporary solution, but this temporary solution can be of very, effectively made use in spiritual sadhana. Now, a question may come, what is the relationship between prana and mind? So, Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi says, Chittavayavaha chitkriyayutaha shakhayordvai shakti mulaka. Come for this power of Maya Shakti. The Maya Shakti has two branches. What are the two branches? One is prana, the other is the mind. Chittavayavaha. These are the two branches of this power called Maya Shakti. They are the two branches of this tree. So, this Maya Shakti has got three Shaktis: Jnana Shakti, Ichha Shakti, and Kriya Shakti. So, Jnana Shakti and Ichha Shakti, it belongs to the mind, power of the mind. And Kriya Shakti, it belongs to the power of prana. They are associated with prana. So, therefore, Bhagwan, if you see in olden days, etc., when we have to pluck a mango and that mango is quite far. So, what do? Whatever branch is nearer to us, we catch hold of it and pull it down, and then the other branch also comes down. So, in the same way, you hold on to the prana and the mind comes under your control. There is a deep relationship between them. So, in the beginning, it is a very useful technique. Many times, what happens is mind becomes so dull. You are not able to do your mananam, shravanam, mananam, etc., nididhyasanam, etc. Mind is very dull, very tamasic. It is not cooperating. Sometimes it is wandering also. At that time, when you are absolutely helpless with regard to thoughts, this technique becomes very, very useful. And that is why Bhagavan Shankaracharya says in his verse, what does he say? Pranayamam pratyaharam nitya viveka vicharam japya sameta samadhi vidhanam kurvavadhanam mahadavadhanam bhaja govindam Govindam bhaja mudhamate. So what is the first step Bhagavan Shankaracharya says? Pranayamam pratyaharam. The first is pranayam. Start with pranayam. So what I'm trying to say is, the first one is pranayama. Start with the grosser techniques and then go towards the subtler techniques. The first is pranayama. It is something which every one of us can do. It is something which is very easy to do also. So as you are doing this pranayamam pratyaharam, just pay attention to your breathing. Let the breathing be slow and steady, and slowly bring all your attention to your breathing. And this is something very easy because you are paying attention to something gross. Paying attention to something subtle is always difficult. Paying attention to something gross is very easy. That's why these vipassana people and all, they ask you to pay attention to the breath, the ingoing, outgoing breath. Pranayamam pratyaharam. So this is called as pratyahara. So as you are paying attention to your breath, You have already withdrawn the mind from the world to the present moment in this ingoing and outgoing breath. So, to a great extent, withdrawal has happened. Mind has withdrawn. It's a great step from the world to the body. The withdrawal has happened. Pranayamam pratyaharam. Then what you have to do? By then, mind has become single pointed. Mind has become quiet. Mind has become subtle. Now, mind is in a position to meditate upon the higher, do subtler thinking. So then what you have to do? Pranayamam pratyaharam. The next one is nitya anitya viveka vicharam. Now, the mind should be busy in doing Vedanta Chintanam. What is Vedanta Chintanam? Nitya, Anitya. What is that which is permanent? What is that which is impermanent? So, the consciousness in me is a permanent one. The Sakshi in me, the witness in me, the self in me. So, slowly you have to shift your attention from the non self to the self. Mind has become subtle enough, pure enough. So Nitya Anitya Viveka Vichara. So bring in all the Vedantic thoughts. There are two entities in this world, the self and the non-self, the real and the non-real, the Druk and the Drishya, the seer and the seen. So now we have what you have to do, bringing in the spiritual thoughts, shift your attention of the mind from the seen to the seer. And for that, Japya Sameta Samadhi Vidhanam. You can use Japa. Japa is a pointer. The name of the Lord is a pointer in shifting our attention from the seen to the unseen. Japya Sameta Samadhi Vidhanam. And then, after fixing the attention upon the self, let the mind abide in the self. Let the mind get absorbed in the self. Kuru avadhanam mahadavadhanam. Now, this is the whole of meditation. So, in this, what is the first step? Pranayama is the first step. So, those who do pranayama, they can very clearly make a difference. Within 10-15 minutes, the quality of the mind changes so much. Those who regularly do pranayama, they know it. In the beginning, you may not see much difference, but slowly, as you are constantly doing pranayama, you are able to retain your breath for a long time. You are able, that what you call that the span, that one full cycle, slowly it increases with practice. Your lungs capacity starts increasing, and with that increase of capacity, you are able to hold the breath for long. And with this capacity increasing, that mind also tremendously gets affected by this what you call practice of pranayama. And quieter the mind, the more efficient the mind is. Quieter the mind, more subtle the mind is. And subtler the mind, more easier it is able to do all higher sadhanas. So in this way, pranayama is extremely useful. So may we all make use of this wonderful technique given by our great saints and sages, and may we proceed in our sadhana successfully. Hari Om. Thank you.
Hari Om. Thank you, Swamiji. It was very good. Learned a lot of new things. Thank you so much for that. So we will go on to our speaker of the day. So I'm just going to give an introduction of Dr. Jain first. Dr. Jain, first of all, welcome to you. Very happy to have you here. We're looking forward to your talk. So Dr. Vijay Jain is a doctor. He's been a general surgeon for over 40 years. And he also brings focused study of integrative medicine in Ayurveda. I mean, integrating modern medicine and Ayurveda for about 25 years now. He has studied Ayurveda with various famous Vaidyas and Ayurvedic universities in India. He also has had yoga training from the S. Vyasa Swami Vivekananda Yoga Center in Bangalore. Since his retirement from general surgery, he practices integrative and Ayurvedic medicine in Florida, USA. He specializes in Ayurvedic detoxification, Panchakarma therapies, and Rasayana therapies for chronic lifestyle diseases and graceful aging. Dr. Jain also has co-authored a book titled Unfolding Happiness, based on the principles of yoga and Ayurveda. His new book, A Guide to Ayurvedic Cooking, is now available in electronic format. And his website is vijayjainmd.com, and I will share that later on with everyone. On a personal note, Dr. Jain is also one of my teachers for Ayurveda, and also I have done 3 Panchakarmas with him, and I've had wonderful experiences, and he's a mentor to me. So I'm really, really happy to have him here, and you all are going to enjoy this session quite a bit. Really looking forward to it, Dr. Jain. Go ahead and take on, and make sure everybody mutes yourself, please. So I will just pin Dr. Jain as a speaker here.
Thank you, Pushpa. That was very kind of you to introduce me so well. I see there are a lot of different types of people in the audience. I'm going to be talking about the role of pranayama and meditation in healing physical and emotional issues. Now, Swamiji did a beautiful synopsis of what is to come. I'm going to be talking more about the medical aspects of it and some practice. So I'm going to divide my talk into 15 minutes of didactic or theoretical, 30 minutes of actual practice, and 15 minutes of question and answers. Pushpa, is that okay?
Yeah, that's great, Dr. Jain.
Okay. All right. So we're going to start with the definition of pranayama, because Swamiji mentioned pranayama and he gave the definition, which is probably the best definition. However, there are a lot of confusion in people's mind as to what is pranayama. Pranayama is made up of 2 words, prana and ayama. Some people confuse it and say it's prana and yama, which means control of prana. No, we don't want to control prana. We want to do on the opposite of control. We want to do prana ayama, which means that freeing the prana. So where is the prana caught up that we are freeing it? We are freeing it from emotional blocks, physical blocks. We have plenty of them based on our experiences. So we are freeing that prana by doing the pranayama. So it's basically releasing the prana and also expanding the prana, life force, which does all the functions Swamiji just talked about. We free up that prana and help in circulating that prana all over the body. That is the important part, that in order to have the emotional, mental, and physical health, we need to use all the prana we have, plus bring in more prana into the body to help in healing wherever the blockages are there. Remember, all healing occurs through prana. Healing does not occur at the physical level. Physical level, we have treatments, we have treatment of symptoms, treatment of disease, but true healing does not occur at the physical level. It occurs at the pranic level. So prana is the ultimate healer of all of our mental, physical, emotional issues which we have. So it is important to understand that the goal is to expand the prana and help in circulating of that prana in all parts of our body. All right. It also, as Swamiji said, it prepares the mind for deep meditation. And we'll come to that in a few minutes. So once we are clear of our definition, We know from Patanjali's sutras or the 8-limb yoga, Ashtanga yoga, pranayam is the 4th limb in that Ashtanga yoga. 5th is the pratyahara, and then dharana, dhyana, and samadhi. And Swamiji took you through those steps of how we focus, and then we become aware of self, and then aware of the ultimate consciousness, unity consciousness, which is samadhi. So all those is possible by using these steps of pranayama. Now I see a lot of older people in the audience. So as we get older, and I'm 77, as we get older, our physical flexibility becomes less. We cannot do all the young people's poses like Pushpa does. I cannot do that anymore. So I do stretching, but pranayam becomes much more important as we get older. And I think if younger people were to use pranayam more than the pretzel poses, they will also become more enlightened and much more healthy physically as well as emotionally. So it is very important to understand that pranayam is the gateway to the mind and to the self. It is the gateway to a deep meditation. And if we use pranayam properly, we can achieve a proper meditation and easier meditation than struggling by calming the mind or controlling the mind, which is not possible. You know, my teacher in India used to say that mind is like a drunken monkey. Uh, you cannot control it. I have added to it, mind is like a drunken monkey which has been bitten by a scorpion. So that is how my mind is. And you cannot control it. You can only indirectly affect it by the use of pranayama practices. Now, also, I think Swamiji did briefly mention it, that our emotions change the way we breathe. The reverse is also true. If we breathe in a better fashion, then the emotions can change also. And that is a very important point. The emotional blocks we hold in our body, which is the only place where we can hold the emotions, is the physical body. Those emotions become blocked in the physical tissues, and their release can be affected by pranayama. So I want to emphasize again that pranayama is a very important practice. Now, let us talk a few things about the benefits of pranayama. Now, the benefits are many, but I'm going to just touch on a few of those which are medically being shown to be of help. So there has been tremendous amount of research funded by NIH and by ICMR in India and by SVIASA, which has done tremendous amount of research on pranayama. The once we know it lowers stress and anxiety. That is very important because stress itself is implicated in about 85% of the diseases. So if we can reduce the stress, that will be great. So pranayama can be used for that. It also improves the sleep quality. So we will talk about which type of pranayama practice helps in that, which improves the sleep quality. It can be used in people with sleep apnea so that they don't have those periods of apnea. It can be used for neurocognitive benefits, which is very important for people with potential candidates for Alzheimer's or Parkinson. Neurocognitive benefits are very important. the intelligence improves. So as Swamiji was talking about, the part of mind, in yoga and Ayurveda, we divide mind into three parts. The primitive mind, which is connected to our senses, the mind of emotions uh, is the second part, and third is the intelligence, the what we ability to differentiate and to choose the right path. So all three combined are called chitta. So Patanjali said, yoga chitta vriddhi nirodha, which has been taken very differently by different people. But basically, what it means is practice of yoga is to not remove, but to make you aware of the disturbances of the mind, make you aware of all the things mind goes through, from its disturbances, its volitions, its um, memory, emotions, volitions, imaginations, and intuition. So the practice of yoga should take you to a place, this unity conscious, where you become aware and witness these modifications of the mind. And when you are able to do that, the mind starts to become calmer. So not only that the calm mind lets you go into meditation, but meditation itself makes the mind quiet so that you will not have all the distractions of the mind taking you different places. So both sides, there are benefits of that. Other benefits of pranayama are the cardiovascular benefits. So cardiovascular benefits have been shown that mild hypertension can be controlled just by pranayama. Even arrhythmias, irregularity of the heartbeat can be controlled just by pranayama. The lot of effect on cholesterol and LDL, triglycerides can be due to pranayama leading into meditation. Maharishi Mahesh Yogi's group showed evidence of uh, lowered cholesterol levels with just pranayama and meditation. So there have been a lot of studies on that. The pulmonary functions, as Swamiji mentioned, that your vital capacity increases. Now, people who are in medical field, they will notice that people with chronic lung conditions, if their lung functions improve, their capacity to sustain the chronic lung disease becomes better. The FEV1, which is one of the indicators of chronic lung disease, improves. In my case, I started doing pranayama practice every morning. I will do a 30-minute practice and 20 minutes of meditation. Every morning I do with my clients on Zoom, and my vital capacity has increased by 10%. If you can increase your vital capacity at the age of 75, 77, you're making a tremendous difference in your physical, mental, emotional being, because that is the key. As we get older, our muscles become weak and we are not able to breathe as deeply as we should. And pranayama teaches you that. It improves the mood. Uh, there are many, many different studies done on addictions, especially smoking and alcohol, with certain types of pranayama. Helps in lose weight. It also helps in improve quality of life in people with diabetes, hyper blood pressure, and cancer. So it can be used as an adjunct to whatever else they're going through, chemotherapy and radiation and surgery. This will add to a healing practice for them. It improves the Agni, which Swamiji mentioned, the Jathara Agni. The pranayama will increase Agni. And all of these are benefits of meditation also. So it is a continuum. It is not just pranayama itself. Pranayama leads you into the dharana, dhyana, and samadhi. So all these are increasing benefits of the same practice. In depressed patients, we can use certain other practices of pranayama. So there are many different types of pranayamic practices. I thought we'll spend few minutes on practice of some of those pranayama practices. Of course, in half an hour, we cannot, I don't want you to do too much, because if they're not done properly, these pranayama practices can be harmful to you. They can damage your lungs instead of benefiting you. So we'll do some small practices, and maybe Pushpa can at a later date can show you on an individual basis the advanced practices which are very beneficial also. So I'm not sure whether everyone knows about the three-part breath in yoga. So yogic breath is a three-part breath, which starts with abdominal breath. That means when you inhale, you blow up your abdomen so the diaphragm goes down and brings the air into the lower part of the lung. So most of us do not breathe into the abdomen. We breathe into the chest, and we have to breathe more often. But if we breathe into the abdomen, we'll find that the number of breaths per minute decreases as we use the abdominal breath. And yoga teaches you that use the abdominal breath to breathe deep into the lower part of the lungs first. The second part of the breath is expanding the chest, and the third part is breathing into the upper part of the lungs, into the apical areas of the lungs. So when we breathe into the abdomen, then expand the chest, and then raise the clavicle to breathe into the upper part of the lung. So the whole lung is aerated. Most of us use about 40% of our lungs on a regular basis. We use shallow breathing, and shallow breathing leads to much rapid breathing because we need to eliminate the carbon dioxide from the body. So we have to breathe more times. So on average, average person breathes 12 to 14 times a minute. If you do deep breathing, three-part breathing of yoga, you will only need to breathe about 6 to 7 times per minute. So that is a big difference. And the number of breaths per minute is directly related to the activity of the mind. So as we decrease the number of breaths per minute, our mind also slows down. So remember, we cannot control the mind, but we can control the breath. Therefore, the mind will also quieten down. So that is the first breath. So I don't know whether you can all see me or not. My abdomen is not exposed, but what I'm doing is I'm putting my left hand on my stomach, if everybody wants to try it. And we will first breathe into the abdomen. Now I'm breathing into the chest and then into the clavicle. So three parts I breathed in, and now I'm going to breathe out, deflate my abdomen, then the chest, and then the clavicle. So this is the reverse of what I did before. So this reduces the number of breaths. So inhalation is difficult to control, but exhalation is easy to control because we can control the activity of the diaphragm. So we use the diaphragm to slow down our exhalation. So we breathe in 3 parts and then exhale slowly so that it takes much longer for the whole breath to take. So let me do it again. And I'm squeezing the diaphragm by contracting the abdomen so that all the air from the lung is completely expelled. So that is the 3-part breath. And I think people who are beginners, they should start with that. Just doing that 5 minutes 3 times a day, you will see that the activity of your mind has come down. If you were stressed, the stress level has gone down. If you were having panic attacks, your panic attacks will go down. So that is the first breath which we teach everybody in the beginning. Any questions, or you want to take questions later on, right, Pushpa?
Yes, Dr. Jain. Yeah, we'll do questions at the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that is the first breath I want to make sure that everybody understands. The second breath is called alternate nostril breathing. So basically, we are changing the breath from one nostril to another. And the effect of that breath are tremendous. Let me go over some of the benefits of that. So respiratory diseases, it's a very beneficial effect, like asthma. For balancing your Ayurvedic doshas, it is a very good breath because it reduces the sympathetic nervous system activity. Remember, autonomic nervous system in modern medicine is similar to prana. Modern medicine, as physicians, we don't know that, but what we are talking about is prana. So prana has 2 aspects of it. In yoga, we call it the male energy and the female energy, or the left brain and right brain. But in modern medicine, we call it sympathetic and parasympathetic. Yoga and Ayurveda always tries to balance the sympathetic and parasympathetic. So those of you who have a little bit of yogic anatomy knowledge, we have 3 channels coming through in our pranic system: Ida, Pingla, and Sushumna. Ida is the female energy, male energy. The Pingla is the female energy, and Sushumna is the balance, which is in the center of it. If you have ever seen 2 snakes crossing down to the bottom, and the center, which is the insignia we use in modern medicine, it comes from these concepts of yoga. So we want to balance the Ida and Pingla and have the energy transmit through Sushumna. Alternate nostril breathing balances the sympathetic and parasympathetic. So it is an extremely beneficial practice. Not only does it improve the lung functions, but it also reduces sympathetic nervous system activity. 100% of us have overactivity of sympathetic nervous system because the way we live in this society. So if we do alternate nostril breathing, even 5 minutes, 2-3 times a day, we will see that our sympathetic nervous system activity, that fight, flight, freeze response, is decreased tremendously by just doing this practice. So it's a very beneficial practice. And I advise everyone should do that. People, especially if you're having problem going to sleep, or if you're waking up in the middle of the night, do 5 minutes of alternate nostril breathing, and you will see the tremendous benefits of that. So this is what we are going to do. We'll practice this breath next. So I want everybody to follow me. Close your right nostril with your right thumb. There's a mudra for it, but we'll start with just closing the right nostril with a right thumb and the left nostril with the index finger. Now open the left nostril and take a deep breath in through the left nostril, the abdominal breath, which we just talked about. Close the left nostril, open the right nostril, and breathe out gently through the right nostril, taking longer to breathe out than you did to breathe in. Breathe in through the right nostril. Close the right nostril and open the left nostril and breathe out slowly through the left nostril. Again, taking longer to breathe out than you did to breathe in. Now I want you to close your eyes and follow my instructions. Breathe in through the left nostril. Close the left nostril. Open the right nostril and breathe out slowly through the right nostril, taking longer to breathe out than you did to breathe in. Breathe in through the right nostril. Close the right nostril. Open the left nostril and breathe out slowly through the left nostril. Again, taking longer to breathe out than you did to breathe in. Breathe in through the right nostril. Left nostril. Close the left nostril and breathe out slowly through the right nostril. Breathe in through the right nostril. Close the right nostril and breathe out slowly through the left nostril. Breathe in through the left nostril. Close the left nostril and breathe out slowly through the right nostril. Breathe in through the right nostril. Close the right nostril and breathe out slowly through the left nostril. Breathe in through the left nostril. Close the left nostril and breathe out slowly through the right nostril. Breathe in through the right nostril. Close the right nostril and breathe out slowly through the left nostril. Now gently open your eyes. Did anybody feel anything after this 5 breaths? Did you see that your mind is quieter, your heart rate is gone down, your blood pressure is gone down? So you are much more relaxed than you were before you started this breath. So This is an important breath to understand and do. It, we can call it different things. We call it sun and moon energy. We can call it male and female energy. We can call it sympathetic, parasympathetic. But basically, idea is to balance the two uh, sides of the nostril, which balances the left brain and right brain. So left brain is more connected to the right breath, right nostril, and the left nostril is connected to the right brain. So most of us live either in left brain activity or right brain activity. A lot of artists, creative people are in the right brain. Most of accountants and uh, uh, scientists and um, they all work on the left brain. When we balance the two, our functioning uh, cognitive functions improve. We open new pathways for the um, nerve cells to form, and we have new connections in the brain. Remember, brain is very neuroplastic, means that it is very plastic in nature. You can change the brain anytime you want. Neuroplasticity is the new thing which is coming up in modern medicine. Ayurveda and yoga have used it for centuries uh, by using meditation and pranayama practices. Okay. So the third breath, which I want to demonstrate and teach you, is called Bramari. Bramari is also known um, as bumblebee breath or humming inside the skull and the sinuses. It is considered a very important breath, and the breaths I'm teaching you today are slow breaths, mainly to reduce the sympathetic nervous system activity. The Bramari is beneficial in lowering blood pressure. It is helpful in insomnia. So if you have insomnia or problem with falling asleep, if you do Bramari for a few minutes, 4 or 5 rounds, that will slowly get better over a period of time. Bramari also has and again, I don't want to go into a lot of advanced techniques. Bramari has advanced techniques where we place our tongue on different parts of the palate, which have different benefits. But Bramari, basic Bramari, is also good for opening up the sinuses, those chronic sinus diseases, chronic upper respiratory issues. It benefits in that. And a lot of people tell me they cannot do these alternate nostril breathings and pranayama practices because one side or the other side of their nose is blocked. So there is uh, a essential oil uh, formula I use. You can get it on Amazon. It is comes under Sinu, Sinu, Orega, Orega. Sinu Orega, you put two uh, sprays in either side. It irritates. It has got a little bit of red pepper in it and some essential oils like oregano and sage. And that will open up both sides of the nostril and your pranayama practice will improve. So it will help in, making sure your sinuses become better with Bramari. Sinuses will detox or you will remove a lot of the toxins from the sinuses by doing Bramari. The Bramari has been shown lately, actually, since COVID, there were several papers which came out that Bramari increases the production of nitric oxide in the brain. Now, those of you who are medical and understand the nitric oxide dilates the blood vessels. And it is, some medical preparations are there for increasing nitric oxide preparation, but this is natural production of nitric oxide. And some of the benefits could be because it increases the blood vessels, dilated the blood vessels in the respiratory tract, thereby increasing the flow of the immune cells and antibodies, and therefore clearing the upper respiratory issues. So what we do in this is we close our tragus, which is this little structure in front of our ear. We close it gently to block any external sound, place our fingers on the face. And again, there is a mudra. We are not going to go into that. And we'll take a real deep breath, abdominal breath, and we'll cause a little blockage in our throat when we are exhaling, making the sound of a bumblebee. It'll be something like this. Mm. Mm. So normally when we do this, we do about 4 or 5 times this practice. I think I lost my 4 or 5 times we do this practice at a time. And after that, you will feel the sensations in your head and neck area, as if everything is dilated, the blood vessels are dilated, the blood flow has increased into the respiratory tract. So this is a very good practice if you have upper respiratory issues, if you have sleep issues, if you have even problem with TMJ or temporomandibular joint. All these upper respiratory issues can be controlled by doing this pranayama practice. All right, so these are the 3 practices which I'm going to stop at today as far as the pranayama practices are concerned. Okay, so next I want to talk about a few minutes about meditation, as to what is meditation and what is it not. So meditation is going beyond the activity of the mind. So it is not listening to music, it is not cooking, it is not gardening, because those are the activities of the mind. Now they can lead you to meditation, because as we will talk about, that there are 4 steps to meditation. But the goal is not to be doing anything, but to be communing with your higher self, which is beyond the mind, beyond the activities of the mind, beyond the thought process, the all the emotional processes, anger, jealousy, fear, all that. It is beyond all that. So it's not about thinking about your problems, because that is mind watching mind think. That is not what meditation is. Meditation is going beyond all of those things, all of the disturbances of the mind, all of the activities of the mind, which we know and are familiar with, which are emotional as well as thought processes. all of our preconditioned activities. We always act in a certain way when a certain response, a certain stimulus is given. We are going beyond all that. So it is beyond going all activities of the mind. That means there is no thought process when you are doing the meditation. You are in a field in the consciousness or unity consciousness where you're observing the activity of the mind. You're not involved in the activity of the mind, but you're observing the activity of the mind. You become the witness to the activities of the mind. That is where we want to go. And that means that the mind has to be quiet enough that we can go beyond the mind. Now, I don't know about you, but when I started meditation practice 25 years ago, my mind was one thought came after another thought and another thought. Mind can only think of one thing at a time. So it is a sequential thoughts which keep coming. You never have time between the two thoughts. And when these thoughts are so close together, then we cannot even go to sleep because we cannot find that restful place. So idea is to create the time, the rest period between two thoughts. That we increase the interval between the two thoughts. In the interval, in the space between the two thoughts is the self, the higher self, the soul, the whatever you want to call it, the unity consciousness. So we want to go there. We fall into those spaces when our mind is quieter. And just now we have done these practices, and there are more, which will help us to reduce the thought activity, which is mind. The one job of mind is to think. It thinks all the time. It thinks if there's nothing to think, because it gets panic that I have nothing to think. So mind is always thinking. So when we do pranayama, fourth limb of Patanjali Yoga, fifth is pratyahara. So we automatically go into pratyahara when we are doing pranayama. The next step is dharana. That means we have focus on an individual focus. So a lot of people use mantra or Om Namo Shivaya. Whatever your mantra is, you repeat that in your mind, not verbally, but repeat in your mind, which is a pointed focus. That is dharana. Dhyana is that this focus on one object will lead you to become aware of something beyond it. Eventually, that mantra or the sound where you're focusing will disappear, and you'll be into this blank space. A lot of you who do gardening or cooking or music, you go into that space where time passes and you don't even know that so much time has passed. So that is what we are talking about, that you're going beyond the mind. And now you're observing the mind, whatever mind is doing, which is thinking or creating trouble. Mind is always creating trouble. So meditation is once we are in the focus, then we go into self-awareness, and then we are in that field only. We are not even aware of the mind. And that is very difficult to achieve. I don't know about you, but I've been practicing 25 years. I can probably have had few experiences of that in my 25 years. But that's not important. It's not important. That's not the goal. Goal is the practice. When you do that meditation practice every day, you are getting the benefit of those momentary communion with your higher self. And that momentary communion is enough to bring the grace of your higher self into your mind and physical body. So it is not a goal-oriented practice. It is a practice that leads to what I call abhyasa. Abhyasa leads to what do you want to call it leads to the word I'm trying to use. Well, anyway, it will come to me. Detachment. So abhyasa and detachment, that leads to that self-awareness and eventually the samadhi. So when you practice enough, then your entire day becomes like a multi-dimensional awareness of you're aware of your mind, what is thinking. And remember, when you are aware of your mind, mind stops to think useless things. It only thinks of what you direct it to think. Your body starts to function better because your prana is now free of any emotional blocks. So your body starts to work better. So your mind is clear, your body is functioning properly, and that is the definition of swasthya, the health, which Ayurveda defines. So Ayurveda does not say that you only do dinacharya, ritucharya, diet, and all those things. It also says you need to do practice of meditation on a daily basis. So if we do all of that, then we can completely become swasthya, means healthy. And that is the benefit of meditation. Uh, can I see by raise of hand how many people meditate on a regular basis? Yeah, a lot of people. So that's good. So I think if we start with pranayama and end up with meditation every day, then you will see the benefits of all those over a period of time. All right. Any other parts which I need to discuss? So basically what we have talked about is that when we reach meditation, the stage of meditation, the stage where we are becoming witness to the activities of our mind and body, then we understand that I'm not my mind and I'm not my body. I am the self. I am Brahmasmi. I am the creator of my destiny, which is created when you are in meditation. You can become a co-creator of your destiny and create the life you want in the long run. So that is the my lecture, and now I'll open it to questions and answers.
Okay, I think that was great. Dr. Jain, one more time, thank you so much. It was wonderful. Your talk was wonderful. I think a lot of great information shared.
Thank you.
I will share your information, your website and your email. Whoever wants to contact Dr. Jain, you can get in touch with him.
Thank you. Namaste.
Yeah. Thank you. Namaste.
Next month, we will have a different topic more related to trusts and estate planning. And one of our known person, lawyer, Samir Chabria, will be giving a presentation on it. So it's on the March 24th at the same time, 4:30 p.m. Central. And information will go out.
And the satsang before that will be Dhirenji has accepted to do that. So he will be talking for 20 minutes. He'll start off the meeting. Yeah. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om.